All right. In reference to the situation in the last few days in Arizona, I don't see anything new here among the Republican Party. Well, heck, over the course of this last election cycle, for that matter. And this is for you, Dave Rubin, and also for Razor Fist, and for Stick Hexenhammer 666, things that you've noticed and have been reminding us and warning us about. Let me add my voice to that. If we go back, say, to the 1964 presidential cycle, we see that this kind of thing has been going on for some time. This term, rhino, that I have been hearing for years, Republicans invoking, as though the real Republicans were people that follow a pattern, example of Calvin Coolidge or Barry Goldwater or Ronald Reagan. I think I can make a case, though, that the example of Coolidge and Goldwater and Reagan, in terms of the history of the Republican Party, going back to its founding in 1854, but you don't have to go that far. The struggle between Barry Goldwater and Nelson Rockefeller for the nomination in 1964. And as I recall, Rockefeller was the favorite. He was the one that was more or less the establishment Republican, believe it or not. And the support for Goldwater then was more or less of an insurgency. Many Republicans who would have supported Rockefeller were embarrassed by the rock-ribbed conservatism of Goldwater. And of course, the nominating process in those days wasn't like it is now. The primaries weren't as important as they are now. They still more or less decided on the convention. There were sure thing candidates and all that, but it wasn't necessarily the candidates that had taken most of the support in the primaries, although that was an important metric at the time. But it wasn't until the post-Watergate reforms that the primary campaign took on a new importance when it came to the major parties selecting their nominees. It was easier in those days to seize the nomination by shrewd maneuvering on the convention floor and behind the scenes as well. I wonder, though, remembering 1964 and that fight, and as I say, Rockefeller and his people were not good sports about losing. I wonder if they decided, because they couldn't support the guy that got the nomination of the party, that they would sit out the election or maybe even vote for Lyndon Johnson.